I'm back with another video, and today I just want to go over the fact that this content stuff, creating content, whether that's long form, whether that's short form, it does take a long time, and it takes a while to get good at things. Like I'm around, I think 64. This is day 64 of posting every single day, and it is like pretty hard to figure out. You kind of have to be sort of unique in a way, and you have to figure out your own type of content that actually works and people like, and that takes a long time. So don't expect to blow up on your first ever video, because the chances are that is not gonna happen, and it is difficult. It does take time, but if you never quit, then you will never fail. It's as simple as that. And I've been really thinking about if this is like the thing I want to do, and it really is the thing I want to do in the future. The amount of potential that you can have, and the amount of opportunities that open up for you if you just stay consistent with content is just insane. It's like there's no level of there's no limit that you can reach. It's like it just infinitely goes up and up and up. So it's pretty exciting, but when you're starting at the very beginning, you have to be so patient in doing, like, just working, and you kind of just have to trust that it's all going to work out. And I really do believe that it will all work out in the end. I believe that, I'm capable of doing this, and yeah. And today I hit a milestone on TikTok. We just hit 2,000 followers on TikTok. So I'm pretty happy. I feel like in 64 days, that's a decent milestone to hit. But I really do want to focus on making my content better now. And I'm still figuring stuff out. Like, I've went viral once so far. I'm going to try my absolute best to go viral again. And I really do want to hit 10K followers on not every single platform, but on all platforms together. I want to hit 10K followers or subscribers, and there's about 55 days remaining at the left, like, remaining in the year. So it is going to be a pretty difficult goal. I'm not even at like 2.5. We're not even 25% of the way there. So I'm really going to have to dial in for the next 2 months if I really want to hit that. But if I don't hit that, it's fine. Like, I'm not putting pressure on myself to hit that goal, but it is a nice barrier to hit, or it's a nice goal to aim for. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. College, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of cooked with college. I'm not gonna lie. I am cooked. I haven't been going in at all. I've just been doing this, but yeah, I mean, I could lock in with that as well, but I really do want to dedicate as much time as possible to, one, the fitness aspect of things and content aspect of things, and that's really where my main focus is right now. And I do have a quote. It's by a guy called Napoleon Hill, and I probably said it here before, but quote basically goes, "When a man truly wants a thing so badly that he's willing to stake his entire future on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win." And I just always repeat that quote to myself, because I really do think it's a deep, meaningful quote. If you just stick to the things and you're willing to sacrifice everything to achieve this one thing, you will achieve it. And I really do go by that quote every single day. It's like every time I wake up, it's one of the first things that I think of. Well, I do a bit of scrolling first, but then I really do say that quote to myself, and it really does push me to keep going, because that's kind of what I'm doing. If you think of college as like a future career of yours, I really am sacrificing my future for this. You could call me dumb, you could call me whatever, but I really do want to do this, and I really do believe in myself, and I really do think that I can achieve this, and that's the most important factor of them all. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking right now, and I really do think that my future self will look at these videos and he will be grateful that I thought this way, because ultimately I am the person who's going to lead where my future self lies, if that makes sense. My future self's position is reliant completely on what I'm doing right now, and I don't want anything else other than for this to work. I'm not gonna lie. And I do believe in myself, and I really do want it to work. So I'm gonna try my absolute best to do so. And yeah, that's kind of my mindset on things. But yeah, better hit gym, better go to the gym for the second time today. I changed up my routine as well. This morning I did a heavy cardio session because I'm on the aggressive cut now. Today's day 2. Eating is pretty well. I have about 100 calories left for the day, and I have about 6-7 hours left in the day. I don't know how I'm gonna manage that, but we'll just drink 0-calorie drinks like this. So yeah, but anyways, I think I'm really starting to progress. I'm really starting to get a hang of things. I'm getting more comfortable in front of the camera. I'm very happy that I just kind of eliminated the editing aspect of stuff because it really removes a heavy part of the whole task of recording myself, because one, you have the recording process, and two, then you have the editing process, and that could take just as long as filming, maybe even longer. So removing that is a really important thing for me, just to make progress. So because I understand that with more friction in between things, like if something that you want to do has a lot of friction in between it, for example, recording, then editing, then posting, and then whatever, if you can remove as much friction as possible while doing something, then you are more inclined to do it. And I learned this from numerous self-help books that I've read. You can see my full shelf in the back here. And that's one of the main things that I learned from the books, is remove as much friction as possible from the things that you do want to do, and make stuff as hard as possible for the things you want to get rid of. And I think it's a book, Atomic Habits, that really emphasizes that point. So highly recommend that book. That's like, the entrance to self-improvement, if you could say. I do have a copy somewhere, but yeah, it's removing friction on the things that you do want to do, and making the things you don't want to do as hard as possible. And adding that simple thing to your life could really just change your productivity levels in, like, an insane amount. So that's kind of what I did with the editing process. I kind of just took that away, and I will add it eventually, but I think it's more important to just create and to post at the very beginning, and then improve quality after. Because if you can't get the quantity part right, then how do you expect the quality to follow? And there was this case study. I remember I was watching a person called Alex Hormozy, and he basically talked about these two college professors and how they marked their pottery classes differently. One college professor, his entire grade was based off of a single pot, and the people in his class basically had to make the best pot possible by the end of the year. And then the other college professor, he basically graded on how many pots a person can make within a year. And what they found is the class that only had to make one pot but make it really good, they just had, a simple sort of, above average pot. But the class that had as much pots as possible, they seen that the average quality of each pot was higher than the class that focused on quality only. So it really just shows that the more quantity you do, quality comes with quantity. Quality is a factor of quantity. So the more that you make, the better you become. And I feel like that's a big mistake that a lot of people make at the very beginning of their journey, is focusing too much on quality. And some people really do want to perfect stuff before they post stuff out. But in this world, you have to be comfortable with creating stuff and releasing it at 60% output, because it may be embarrassing as well. You may not be proud of your work, but the most important thing is creating and then improving as you create more and more, because quality is just a factor of quantity. And that's what I'm really focused on right now. This is why I'm filming this video. I'm making more content, and then the quality will come eventually. Even if you look at my first ever TikTok versus my most recent ones, you can see that there's a big quality boost in the first one versus the most recent one, and that comes with quantity. So yeah, anyways, that's a yap session done. This is a 10-minute yap session. It's a whole lot. But yeah, I'm going to post this up, and I will be back tomorrow for the next day of daily yap. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.